John, a farmer in Yorkshire. He had spent his life plowing fields, fighting rain, and praying for good harvests. But when he read in the paper that railway shares had doubled in price within weeks, he began to dream. After a day's work, he dusted off his boots, walked into town, and placed his savings into railway stock. As he handed over the notes, he whispered to himself, "This is my chance to change everything." In the 1840s, Britain was on the move. The steam engine had transformed industry, and the idea of connecting towns and cities by rail felt like stepping into the future. The very first railways had proven wildly successful, fast, efficient, and profitable. They weren't just machines. They were symbols of progress, of wealth, of modernity. And then came the madness. This was the age of railway mania. Newspapers called it the greatest investment opportunity of the century. Politicians praised it. Engineers promised a new world. And the public, everyone from wealthy bankers to humble servants, believed them. By the mid-1840s, Britain had caught railway fever. It started innocently. Parliament had a role in approving new rail projects, and with every approval, confidence grew. Investors thought, if Parliament allows it, it must be safe. Railway prospectuses flooded the newspapers, describing lines that would supposedly link villages to cities, ports to markets, farms to factories. To the average person, it seemed like you couldn't lose. The stock market, already growing in popularity, became the arena of dreams. Coffee houses buzzed with gossip about the next great railway. Clerks and shopkeepers set aside savings to buy shares. Aristocrats mortgaged their estates to speculate even more. Families who had never before touched finance suddenly became shareholders, and the numbers were staggering. Between 1844 and 1846, over 1,000 new railway companies were proposed. Railway stocks soon made up nearly half of all investments in Britain. At the height of the mania, so much money was being poured into speculative railway schemes that it rivaled the government's own revenues. But beneath the excitement was rot. Many of these schemes were never meant to succeed. Lines were proposed through tiny villages that would never generate enough passengers. Some routes were designed in ridiculous, impractical ways, twisting and turning purely to pass near wealthy landowners' estates, hoping they would invest. Promoters with no engineering skill promised riches. Investors, blinded by the success of earlier railway projects, threw caution to the wind. For a while, the mania fed on itself. As long as prices went up, nobody questioned the fundamentals. But in 1845, the mood shifted. Interest rates began to rise. The Bank of England grew concerned with reckless speculation and tightened credit. Suddenly, it was harder to borrow money to buy shares. Confidence cracked. One railway company defaulted, then another. Panic spread. By 1847, the bubble had burst. Railway shares plummeted. Fortunes evaporated overnight. Men who had boasted of their easy wealth just months earlier now faced bankruptcy. Some families lost everything they had. Respectable professionals, lawyers, doctors, merchants, were forced into humiliating debt. Even members of Parliament, who had encouraged the mania, were caught in the collapse. The scale of the disaster was immense. Billions of pounds in today's money simply vanished. Thousands of railway lines approved in the frenzy were never built. Others remained half-finished, abandoned as monuments to greed and gullibility. And yet, the story isn't entirely one of ruin. While the railway mania destroyed countless personal fortunes, it did leave Britain with something lasting. Enough capital was raised, and enough projects survived, that the nation emerged with a dense and efficient railway network, the backbone of its industrial power. The crash had burned away the foolish schemes, but the genuine ones endured. Still, the lesson was painfully clear. Even in the 19th century, speculation could sweep through society like wildfire. Ordinary people could be seduced by promises of easy riches. Regulators could fail to protect them, and markets could collapse as quickly as they had risen. The railway mania was a warning that progress can inspire greed, that every new technology attracts dreamers and scammers alike, and that no boom lasts forever. In the end, Britain's tracks carried trains, but they also carried the memories of fortunes lost. The story of the railway mania reminds us that bubbles are not unique to our time. Whether it's railways in the 1840s, dot-coms in the 2000s, or cryptocurrencies in the 2000s. History never repeats, but it always rhymes.